Good morning, and welcome to the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Swannanoa Valley. My name is Evan Yannick, and I'm a member of the Board of Trustees. Our denomination is unique because every Unitarian Universalist has the right to develop a personal philosophy of life. Without being told what to believe, we can learn from all philosophies and religions, and also from sciences and the arts. We explore important life issues in a caring community, united by shared values, rather than by shared theological opinions. And no matter what we believe about theology or philosophy, we try to leave the world better than we found it. If you'd like to learn more about Unitarian Universalism or our congregation, please visit our website, UUCSV.org. And now I want to share an update from the Canvas Committee before turning it over to Susan Enright Hicks. We are now 2 weeks away from the close of our annual pledge drive. We have received 58 pledges and are 60% to reaching our goal. I want to say thank you from the bottom of my heart to all who have made their pledge this year. Our church provides a place for spiritual growth and a community focused on social justice, which could not exist without the giving from members and friends. In 2 weeks, I hope to be able to stand here and let you know that we've hit our goal and we have a solid path forward to a renewed congregation. This week, we will be sending emails to those who have pledged in the past but have not yet done so this far. I know I, like many others, am bad for procrastination, but I would ask that you try not to wait until the very last moment. This is important for our ability to plan the upcoming year. We are currently discussing how our church can transition from fully virtual services to some live services with the possibility of a hybrid service. This transition will require the full support of our congregants. Please consider increasing your pledge if you haven't done so already. Our pledge drive this year is fully online through Google Forms, which can be found in an email communication from the UUCSV treasurer or at uucsv.org/pledge. Please take a moment this week to complete this important commitment. And now, let's hear from Susan Enright Hicks.
Good morning. Happy Easter and happy Passover to those of you who celebrate. For those who don't know me, my name is Susan Enright Hicks, and I have the joy of being the Director of Religious Education at the Unitarian Universalist Congregation of the Swannanoa Valley. I began my work for UUCSV in July of 2019, which means I'd been at the job 9 months, not quite a year, when the decision was made to go virtual, and suddenly we all had to find new ways of doing things. In this challenging year, I've been so grateful for a position that has allowed me to work remotely, keeping myself and my family safe. It's huge. And I've been so gratified to do work that has allowed me to help reach out and support others, namely RRA families, as we began making the difficult adjustment to life under a pandemic. This experience has also really driven home for me how fortunate I am to be a part of a congregation willing to put the needs of others first, willing to put community first. I'm so impressed by all of the ways we've found to stay connected this past year, despite being distanced. Our communication staff and committee have done a great job of keeping us informed. Reverend Carter, our service associates, our guest speakers, our wonderful choir, who we're getting to enjoy this morning, and all of the talented musicians we've hosted this year, who shared their gifts with us, have really lifted our spirits, really lifted my spirits anyway, and given me, hopefully all of us, a lot to think about. Of course, their wonderful work has been elevated and made accessible by the efforts of our video editors, who stepped right up and made it possible for Sunday services to continue, and at a high level, almost without interruption. Incredible. Our wonderful treasurer, Lee, our board, as well as committees like personnel and membership and buildings and grounds, have been doing the unglamorous work of keeping an eye on our bottom line, keeping our building and spaces up, and our physical home working while we're all away, and taking care of all the nitty-gritty work and policy and governance of moving our organization forward, all while distance, of course. Social action and congregational care committees have been doing very important work of bringing comfort and support to our own members and the community at large at a time when they need it more than ever. For my part, I've been sharing my love of books. I've been reading stories and leading lessons that reinforce UU values, celebrate diversity, and hopefully have given our young people some of the tools they need to deal with the complicated emotions this past year have brought. Children are remarkably resilient. They are my inspiration every day, and it is a joy to work with them. I have that opportunity because of you. None of the things I've mentioned in the last few minutes would have been possible without contributions of generous folks like yourself. Indeed, none of it can continue without your renewed support. Thank you from the bottom of my heart to those of you who've already made a pledge for the coming year. For those of you who are still considering making a pledge or how much to give, um, may I take a page from NPR's fundraising book and encourage you to consider how UUCSV, how this congregation enriches your life. If you find yourself mulling over a sermon topic or mentioning it to a friend or humming a tune from the service days afterwards, please give. If you look forward to catching up after the services at one of our Zoom coffee hours or hearing about how folks are doing via Joys and Concerns or the Tidings, please give. If you get a sense of satisfaction knowing that our congregation is involved in the important work of upholding the rights and dignity of all individuals, please give. If you gain any sense of gratification or pride in knowing that we are helping to raise a younger generation of advocates for justice and peace, please give. Consider the ways that UCSV upholds your personal values and allow that to help guide you as you make your determination of how much to pledge. Thank you.
And now, let our service begin.
Musical creations have added a fifth dimension to our UU services each Sunday. We've created, sung, and listened virtually for more than a year, and our choral music has energized, spiritualized, and made me joyful. Two of my favorite musicians also get personal about it. First, Janis Joplin. Janis gives up a piece of her heart when she says, "When I sing, I feel like when you're first in love. It's more than sex. It's that point two people get to they call love, when you really touch someone for the first time. But it's gigantic, multiplied by the whole audience. So I feel chills when I sing." Finally, Eric Clapton has this to say, "For me, there's something primitively soothing about the music, and it went straight to my nervous system, making me feel 10 feet tall." So now, Mamie and I will light the chalice to create a sacred space for the magic that we do here.
I'm Annelinde Metzner, and I've directed monthly performances of our UUCSV choir in Black Mountain since 2010. When the pandemic began in earnest a little over a year ago, I knew we would have to change in order to survive. Having some background in mixing and editing with GarageBand on my Mac, I soon learned to conduct rehearsals on Zoom, asking choir members to record themselves with their smartphones. It worked well, and with each month we learned more, adding visuals with our own personal photos and art, and having a ball with hats and costuming from the neck up. It was of no small value to get to be with each other in a meaningful way, creating things of beauty that are enjoyed by our community. So we're taking the opportunity today to look back upon this extraordinary year, sharing with you our delight, love, and hope through song. A special thanks to Carolyn Shorkey and Evan Yannick for all their help.
Love to go a-wandering. Is it an old German folk song? Actually, not. The original German poem wasn't written until around 1850, and the current melody wasn't created until 100 years later, in 1953. Edith Möller conducted a children's choir in northern Germany. She asked her brother to write music to fit the words. The kids sang it that summer at an international music festival in Wales. The BBC recorded the song and broadcast it all over the UK. That recording of Happy Wanderer hit the UK top singles chart for 26 weeks. The children toured internationally, appearing on The Ed Sullivan Show in 1964 and 1966. From the forests of northern Germany to the mountain trails of western North Carolina, people love the great outdoors. Hey, let's take a walk with the Happy Wanderer.
I love to go a-wandering along the mountain track, and as I go, I love to sing my knapsack on my back. Fa-la-dee, fa-la-da, fa-la-dee, fa-la-da, fa-la-dee, fa-la-da, my knapsack on my back. I love to wander by the stream that dances in the sun. So joyously it calls to me, come join my happy song. Follow me, follow, follow me, follow, follow me, follow, come join my happy song. I wave my hat to all I meet, and they wave back to me. And blackbirds call so loud and sweet from every greenwood tree. Follow me, follow, follow me, follow, follow me, follow, from every greenwood tree. High overhead the skylarks swing, they never But just like me, they love to sing as o'er the world we roam. Fa-la-dee, fa-la-da, fa-la-dee, fa-la-da, fa-la-dee, fa-la-da, as o'er the world we roam. Oh, may I go a-wandering until the day I die. Oh, may I always laugh and sing beneath God's clear blue sky. Fa-la-dee, fa-la-da, fa-la-dee, fa-la-da, fa-la-dee, fa-la-da, beneath God's clear blue sky.
Oh, What a Beautiful Morning is a song that most of us are familiar with and many of us love. Our choir sang it early in our days of Zoom practices and recordings. It is the opening song from the musical Oklahoma, which premiered on Broadway in 1943. It was written by composer Richard Rodgers and lyricist Oscar Hammerstein. It was their first song in their first Broadway production. The leading male character in Oklahoma, Curly McLean, sings the song at the beginning of the first scene of the musical. Oh, What a Beautiful Morning became one of Rodgers and Hammerstein's most famous numbers and one of the most popular American songs that emerged from the war era. Enjoy.
There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. There's a bright golden haze on the meadow. The corn is as high as an elephant's eye, and it looks like it's climbing right up to the sky. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the cattle are standing like statues. All the cattle are standing like statues. They don't turn their heads as they see me ride by. But a little brown maverick is winking her eye. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful day. I got a beautiful feeling. Everything's going my way. All the sounds of the earth are like music. All the sounds of the earth are like music. The breeze is so busy it don't miss a tree. And the old weeping willow is laughing at me. Oh, what a beautiful morning. Oh, what a beautiful
Rolling away the stone. In the tomb of the soul, we carry secret yearnings, pains, frustrations, loneliness, fears, regrets, worries. In the tomb of the soul, we take refuge from the world and its heaviness. In the tomb of the soul, we wrap ourselves in the security of darkness. Sometimes this is a comfort. Sometimes it is an escape. Sometimes it prepares us for experience. Sometimes it insulates us from life. Sometimes this tomb life gives us time to feel the pain of the world and reach out to heal others. Sometimes it numbs us and locks us up with our own concerns. In this season where light and dark balance the day, we seek balance for ourselves. Grateful for the darkness that has nourished us, we push away the stone and invite the light to awaken us to the possibilities within us and among us. Possibilities for new life in ourselves and in our world.
Now is the time in our service where we allow our congregation to share its joys and concerns. Please listen with open hearts.
Hi, I have a joy to share, actually two joys to share this week. One is that our friend Jessica Thomas was released from the hospital where she had been for a couple of weeks, and she is now home and feeling great. Not only that, but her group home has given her permission that she can go out now for this whole year. They haven't been allowed to leave the home. And so the other day she went out to have lunch at Olay's and had a great lunch and is looking forward to doing more of that. Of course, she's had both her shots. And my second joy is that I've had both my shots. And so I'm looking forward to getting back to some things that I haven't done in a year. And I'm sure many of you are as well. And hopefully it won't be that long before we're together again. Thank you.
I had one emailed joy this week from Barb Rogers. She says that she's weathered a storm. She was knocked off her feet last month, and she got great help from the congregational care team and wants to say thank you so much. She said that her COVID test came back negative, but it was the 5th time in a year that she's had similar symptoms. She hopes the whole congregation has a happy Easter. We're glad you're feeling better, Barb.
Hi, my name is Arlo, and I have two joys to share. That it's spring break and tomorrow is Easter. Well, today is Easter.
And for all those who decided not to share this week, please know that we hold you in our hearts.
More love somewhere. I'm going to keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere. Folk archivist Alan Lomax called Bessie Jones the mother courage of American Black traditions. Born into a small Black farming community in 1902, she was invited to join the legendary Georgia Sea Island Singers in 1933 when she moved to St. Simon's Island. In 1961, Jones recorded this song for Lomax, attributing it to the enslaved Gullah people. Kidnapped from the west coast of Africa, they brought their expertise as rice farmers and many rich traditions, including hand-clapping song circles. They sang this song to lament, to praise, and to invoke love, peace, and joy. I felt this longing and joy as we sang this song, arranged by Annelinde Metzner. May it bring you solace and strength as well. Sing with us.
There is more love somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. There is more peace somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more peace somewhere. There is more love somewhere. There is more love somewhere. I'm gonna keep on till I find it. There is more love somewhere.
It is right that I fall to my knees on this damp, stony cake, that I bend my back and bow my head. Sun warms my shoulders and the nape of my neck, and the air is tangy with rot. Bulbs rustle like spirits in their sack. I bury each one, a trowel's width under. May they take hold, rising green in time, to help us weep and live.
Let us pause a moment to be grateful for the abundance we share of resources, of shelter, of friends, of community, of knowledge, the arts, of sacred experience, of safety, of care and caring, of nature, human and wild, of spirit and of wealth. Then let us each ask the deeply penetrating question, what is enough for me at this time? How much do I really need? Probe the answer and answer it honestly from your soul. With that individual answer and in the spirit of that eternal gratitude, let us bring forth a beautiful, spontaneous, and radical generosity in all that abundance nestled to share, to give, to dedicate all which we steward toward the widespread need and the opportunity for generosity which appears all around us at this moment. In the name of love, let's share.
Good morning. This is Diane Hutchins with two important messages for today, April 4th, 2021. The first is to announce my 50th wedding anniversary with outstanding husband, Jeff Hutchins. Woo-hoo! Every year we say it's a freaking miracle. The second is to introduce one of my favorite rousing Israeli folk songs called Lo Yisagoy. It means nations shall not lift up sword against nations, nor shall they learn war anymore. What could be a better message for Easter Sunday and Passover? Jeff and I thank you for sharing in our celebration. We wish you a very happy spring. Mwah.
Lo yisagoy el goy herel, lo yilmadu od milchama.
Lo yisagoy el goy herel, lo yilmadu od milchama.
Lo yisagoy el goy herel, lo yilmadu od milchama. Lo yisagoy el goy herel, lo yilmadu od milchama. Lo yisagoy el goy herel, lo yilmadu od milchama.
Lo yisagoy el goy herel, lo yilmadu od milchama.
Lo yisagoy el goy herel, lo yilmadu od milchama. Lo yisagoy el goy herel, lo yilmadu od milchama. And when the fighting's o'er and done, then all the world can live as one. So let the war and hatred cease, so all the world can live in peace. Lo yisagoy el goy herel, lo yilmadu od milchama. Lo yisagoy el goy herel, lo yilmadu od milchama. Lo yisagoy, lo yisagoy. Hey!
Good morning. In The Stranger, Albert Camus wrote the following words that, for me, evoke all the joy of music, life, this congregation, and our common bonds. In the midst of hate, I found there was within me an invincible love. In the midst of tears, I found there was within me an invincible smile. In the midst of chaos, I found there was within me an invincible calm. And I realized that in the midst of winter, I found there was within me an invincible summer. And that made me happy, for it says that no matter how hard the world pushes against me, within me there's something stronger, something better, pushing right back.
Before I go into this brief homily, I just want to thank the choir and especially one of our maestros, Annelinde Metzner, for all the hard work and the coordination and everything to do to make this a really special Easter service. And of course, I always thank the choir. And so, because the music really makes the service. So kudos and thank you for all you do. The meaning of Easter for Unitarian Universalists is, I won't say complicated, but it is varied. There's no escaping the fact that Universalism, as well as Unitarianism, began as a product of the Protestant Reformation. We must keep that in mind. We have Christian roots, and we still do. Both traditions began as a more liberal form of Christianity. And so the traditional accounts of the birth of Jesus and of the resurrection are sometimes included in our celebrations as myths which contain a positive message for human life. The birth of a child, for example, represents the hope and promise found in each new life. The crucifixion and resurrection are symbolic of how new life can emerge even after a time of great pain, sorrow, and loss. For many, but not all UUs, in these contemporary times, these biblical stories are not taken literally, but for what they can symbolically tell us about human life. We celebrate Easter as the return of spring and the renewal of life, and so in this respect, we draw more on the pagan rather than the Christian origins of the holiday. The New Testament accounts of the resurrection may be cited as a symbol of the strength, of the power, and the renewal of life, and many UUs do not accept the idea of a physical resurrection. Most UUs regard Jesus as one of a number of especially gifted and insightful teachers of humanity. These leaders have emerged over millennia, over the course of history, to teach us how we should live, how we should be at peace with ourselves and with each other. Jesus is not considered unique in this respect. His death reflects a tragic and painful end of life. And because UUs have long rejected the idea of any type of original sin, the belief that Jesus atoned for the sins of the world by his death has little relevance for us. Even when Unitarianism and Universalism were clearly Christian faiths, we still rejected this doctrine of atonement. Now, Universalism. At the very beginning, early Universalists and later Unitarians were convinced that the greatest power in the cosmos, the greatest power in all of this universe, is an all-encompassing love, and that no one is beyond the embrace of this love. We believed that this love was the source of all the happiness and harmony that this world could embrace. In short, the Universalists argued that unconditional love was not only a description of the relationship between God and its creation, it was a prescription for all relationships, for all sentient beings. All relations, two-legged, four-legged, winged, those that crawl, the earth itself. Those relations included this planet of ours, which we are so fortunate to reside on, with our brothers and sisters, whether they are two-legged or four-legged, those with wings and those that crawl. And it enlarges, this kind of love enlarges our hearts. And so we let go of what we no longer need, the dead ideas, the anti-life ideas, and the attitudes about life, about what it means to be truly human. And so this love can make the resurrection a reality in our lives. And so this is what Easter means for Unitarian Universalist. May it always be so. Ashe, Amen, and blessed be. Thank you again.
The song Ancient Mother was written by Brooke Medicine Eagle in the 80s, taken from a Navajo traditional chant. Chanting and ritual are central parts of Navajo culture. This chant reflects the belief that the earth is our mother and that God is mother, creator, and protector. This shirt, Many Faces, One Goddess, is from our UU Women's Spirit, which has been meeting at the mountain for over 30 years, twice a year. Ancient Mother is one of this group's favorite chants. Here at UUCSV, Inanna's daughters meet seasonally to honor the goddess with song and ritual, Inanna was known as the Queen of Heaven, the supreme goddess of the known world in ancient times. UU's developed this curriculum, Cakes for the Queen of Heaven, so we could learn about the ancient goddesses throughout the world. These are images of the goddess Isis, the most highly honored of the Egyptian goddesses, known as the Great Mother Goddess of the universe. Huge images of Isis are still found everywhere in Egypt, not just on ancient temples and tombs, but also on contemporary buildings and artwork. Blessed be.
Ancient Mother, I hear you calling. Ancient Mother, I hear your song. Ancient Mother, I hear your laughter. Ancient Mother, I taste your tears. O great bear, down in the hollow, white goose flying high in the sky. Circle round us, sacred mountains, joining hands, lift voices high. Sounds of laughter, of children playing, whispering winds, singing in the pines. Overhead, the snow goes falling, beneath our feet, gem and crystal mines. Father, Son, give us your light now. Mother Moon, help us be wise. Flowing waters, quench our thirst now. Northern lights, come paint our skies. Crickets sing, thunder rolling, splashing salmon will jump the falls. Listen closely to sounds around you, ancient mother.
Odunde means Happy New Year in the Yoruba language of West Africa. It's not only used to celebrate the coming of the new year, but also it's performed at harvest festivals. And it's not only celebrated in West Africa, but it's celebrated by people of the Yoruba faith all over the world, and it's celebrated here in America. In fact, in Philadelphia, there is the Odunde Festival, which was begun in 1975, and every year draws 500,000 people to Philadelphia, not just Americans, but also people from African and Caribbean countries. As you can see, just listening to the song brought me back to the time that I spent in West Africa. And when we sang it as a choir, I couldn't keep my mouth from smiling or my feet from dancing. So enjoy.
Odunde, Odunde, Odunde Adua. Odunde, Odunde, Odunde Adua. Shapawashi Ashopeo, Ile Ile. Odunde, Odunde, Ile Ile. Odunde, Orejaje Amadua, Dua, Orejaje Amadua, Dua, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, Orejaje Amadua, Orejaje Amadua. Oreja Conge, Oreja Conge, Oreja Je Amadua. Odunde, Odunde, Odunde Adua. Odunde, Odunde, Odunde Adua. Odunde, Odunde, Odunde Adua. Shapawashi Ashopeo, Ile Ile. Odunde, Odunde, Ile Ile. Odunde, Orejaje Amadua, Dua, Orejaje Amadua, Dua, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, Orejaje Amadua, Orejaje Amadua, Oreja Conge, Oreja Conge, Orejaje Amadua. Odunde, Odunde, Odunde Adua.
Here, root yourselves beside me.
I am the tree planted by the river, which will not be moved. I, the rock, I, the river, I, the tree, I am yours. Your passages have been paid. Lift up your faces. You have a piercing need for this bright morning dawning for you. History, despite its wrenching pain, cannot be unlived, and if faced with courage, need not be lived again. The horizon leans forward, offering you space to place new steps of change. Here, on the pulse of this fine day, you may have the courage to look up and out upon me, the rock, the river, the tree, your country. Here, on the pulse of this new day, you may have the grace to look up and out and into your sister's eyes and into your brother's face, your country, and say simply, very simply, with hope, good morning.
Pete Seeger once sang that if he had a golden thread, he would use it to weave people from all over the world to one another. That golden thread for Pete was music. Born into a family of traveling musicians, Pete picked up his first instrument at age 7. From then on, music was his life, whether he was playing banjo for soldiers during World War II, an instrument he first discovered at a folk music gathering in Asheville, rallying civil rights activists and war protesters with songs such as We Shall Overcome, Where Have All the Flowers Gone, and If I Had a Hammer, or leading environmental efforts to clean up the Hudson River. Oh, Had I a Golden Thread has been sung and recorded by a number of artists over the years. This choral rendition was arranged by our own Annelinde Metzner.
Oh, had I a golden thread, and needle so fine, I'd weave a magic strand of rainbow design, of rainbow design. I weave the bravery of women giving birth. Oh, in it I weave the innocence of children of the earth, of children of all earth. Far over the waters I reach my magic band. Oh, through foreign cities to every single land, to every single land. Show my brothers and sisters my rain.
In 1962, Burt Bacharach and Hal David had started the main melody and chorus for this song, but put it aside. It was reportedly the hardest lyrics Hal David ever wrote, in the midst of the possibility of his son being drafted into the Vietnam War. For the verse, lyricist David tried man-made things like, "We don't need planes that fly higher or trains that go faster," but was unsatisfied. To paraphrase his words, "Then one day I thought of, Lord, we don't need another mountain." And all at once I knew how the lyrics should be written. Instead of man-made things, I wrote about all the things that had to do with nature and what God gives us. There was now a oneness of idea and language instead of a conflict. When the idea came, the lyrics and music flowed with ease. After Dionne Warwick initially turned it down, singer Jackie DeShannon agreed to record it, and it was first released in April 1965.
What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just to be loved. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone. Lord, we don't need another mountain. There are mountains and hillsides enough to climb. There are oceans and rivers enough to cross, enough to last till the end of time. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. It's the only thing that there's just to be loved. What the world needs now is love, sweet love. No, not just for some, but for everyone.
I thank you, God, for most this amazing day, for the leaping greenly spirits of trees and a blue, true dream of sky, and for everything that is natural, that is infinite, that is yes. I who have died am alive again today, and this is the sun's birthday. This is the birthday of life and of love and wings and of the gay, great happening, illimitably earth. How should tasting, touching, hearing, seeing, breathing, any lifted from the know of all knowing, human merely being, doubt, unimaginable you? Now the ears of my ears awake, and now the eyes of my eyes are opened.